It's 11 p.m. You're lying in bed, replaying a conversation from earlier today. Someone said something kind. They offered to help. They smiled at you like they meant it. And something inside you immediately started looking for the lie. Not because you're paranoid, not because you're damaged, but because somewhere deep in your body, not your mind, your body, there is a signal that has been firing since you were very young. A signal that says, wait, don't move yet, see what happens next. You don't have trust issues. You have a nervous system that was never given a consistent reason to feel safe. And psychology tells a completely different story about what that means. There are 5 rare psychological traits that develop in people whose nervous system never had a stable foundation to trust from. And if you recognize yourself in these, this is not a list of your flaws. This is a map of your survival. Trait 1 is called hypervigilant pattern recognition. That's the clinical term. What it actually means is this: you notice things other people don't. You catch the half-second pause before someone answers. You hear the slight change in tone. You remember the exact wording of what someone promised 3 weeks ago, and you notice quietly, without saying anything, that the wording has shifted. People with a regulated nervous system often miss these signals entirely. Not because they're careless, but because their baseline assumption is safety. They're not scanning. You are always scanning. This comes from a psychological process called threat anticipation. When your early environment was unpredictable, when moods shifted without warning, when promises didn't hold, when love felt conditional, your nervous system learned that survival required early detection. That if you caught the shift before it became a rupture, you had a chance to prepare. The result is a brain that became extraordinarily sensitive to social information. You read rooms, you read people, you often know something is wrong before anyone else in the room does. That's not a trust issue. That's a highly developed early warning system that once kept you emotionally safe. Trait 2 is anticipatory self-protection. Here's what this looks like in real life. Someone is being good to you, genuinely good. And instead of relaxing into it, a part of you starts quietly preparing for when it stops. You don't do this consciously. You don't decide to pull back. It happens beneath awareness, a subtle emotional bracing, a low-level readiness for disappointment, a refusal to fully exhale. Psychologists call this preemptive detachment. It's a strategy the nervous system develops when it has experienced enough ruptures to start treating closeness as a risk rather than a reward. The logic at a nervous system level is simple. If I never fully arrive, I can never be fully blindsided. What makes this particularly painful is that it can feel like emotional numbness, like you're watching your own life from a slight distance. Like good things are happening, but you can't quite let them land. That's not coldness, that's protection. Your system learned that arriving fully, trusting fully, sometimes meant losing everything at once. Stop for a second, because I want you to notice something. Every trait we're describing, the scanning, the bracing, the watching, these are not signs of someone who doesn't want connection. These are signs of someone who wanted it so much that their entire nervous system reorganized itself around the possibility of losing it. You were not built for isolation. You were built for connection. And somewhere along the way, connection became dangerous enough that your body started treating it like a threat. That distinction matters. Trait 3 is a dysregulated response to consistency. This one surprises people. You might expect that someone with a hypervigilant nervous system would relax when someone is consistently kind, consistently present, consistently reliable, that the consistency would eventually register as safe, but often the opposite happens. When someone shows up the same way again and again, a part of you doesn't relax. It gets more alert, because consistency feels unfamiliar, and unfamiliar to a nervous system calibrated on unpredictability reads as a pattern that hasn't revealed itself yet. This is rooted in what attachment researchers call earned insecurity, the experience of having security offered and then withdrawn, often enough that security itself becomes a source of suspicion. The thought isn't always conscious. But somewhere beneath language, there's a whisper. This is too stable. What am I missing? When does this change? You're not sabotaging good relationships on purpose. Your nervous system genuinely does not have a template for what sustained safety feels like. It encounters it and treats it as data it doesn't know how to process yet. If this is resonating with you, make sure you're subscribed. We go deep on the psychology of human behavior, and there's more coming that I think you'll want to see. Trait 4 is what researchers call the intimacy paradox. You crave closeness, genuine, deep, seen and known closeness. It's not that you don't want it, it's that the closer someone gets, the more your nervous system starts to sound the alarm. Because closeness means exposure, and exposure historically meant vulnerability to pain, so you end up in this loop. You want someone near, they come near, something in you pulls back, the distance feels unbearable, you let them closer, the alarm sounds again, you pull back from the outside. This can look like hot and cold behavior, like mixed signals, like emotional inconsistency. But from the inside, it feels like being split in two. One part desperate for connection, one part terrified of what comes with it. This pattern has a name in attachment theory: anxious avoidance cycling. It's most common in people who experienced what researchers call frightened caregiving, where the person who was supposed to be the source of safety was also, at times, the source of fear or unpredictability. When that happens, the nervous system receives a deeply confusing message. The thing I need is also the thing that hurts me. And it never fully resolves that contradiction. It just learns to live inside it. Think about the last time someone told you they weren't going anywhere, that they meant it, that you were safe, and notice what happened in your body in that moment. Not relief, not softness, something closer to suspicion, a quiet voice asking, but for how long? That voice is not pessimism. That voice is experience. Trait 5 is what I'd call the memory of the body. You've probably had the experience of being in a new situation, a new relationship, a new friendship, a new workplace, and feeling a fear response that doesn't match the evidence in front of you. Someone raises their voice slightly, and something in your chest locks. Someone goes quiet for a day, and your mind starts catastrophizing. Someone takes longer than usual to respond, and you're already running exit strategies. The intellectual part of you knows this person hasn't done anything, but your body doesn't agree. This is because trauma, and I use that word broadly, to include chronic emotional unpredictability, not just acute events, doesn't primarily live in memory. It lives in the nervous system as a somatic response pattern, as a body-level association between certain signals and certain threats. The body encountered this before. The body learned, and the body is trying to protect you from something it still believes is coming. This is not irrationality. This is the nervous system doing exactly what it was designed to do: use past experience to predict future threat. The problem is that the past it's drawing from is no longer the present you're living in. That lag between what your nervous system expects and what is actually happening is one of the most painful and disorienting experiences a human being can have. And it has nothing to do with how smart you are, how self-aware you are, or how much you want things to be different. Here's what I want you to take from this. Every single one of these traits, the scanning, the bracing, the suspicion of consistency, the push-pull of intimacy, the body that won't fully believe it's safe. Every one of them developed because you were paying attention, because you were sensitive enough and intelligent enough to learn from what your environment was teaching you. You were not broken by what happened, you were adapted by it. And adaptation, unlike damage, can shift, not through willpower, not through deciding to trust more, but through what neuroscientists call corrective experience, through real, repeated encounters with safety that gradually give your nervous system new data to work with. It is a slow process. It is not linear, but it is not impossible. You were never broken. You were built differently. And the fact that you're here, trying to understand yourself with this kind of honesty that matters more than you know, which trait hit closest to home? Drop a number in the comments, 1 through 5. I read every single one.